doing this morning? That's great. Before we begin today's children's story, is there somebody who would like to pray? Come on, don't be bashful. Is there somebody who would like to pray? Okay, Caleb.
Dear Jesus, thank you for this day. Thank you for everybody. And please bless us to have a wonderful day today. And please bless the preacher that's going to be preaching the word from you, Lord. In the name of Jesus we pray.
Amen. Amen. A long time ago, there was this man named Saul. He was an enemy of the church and did many terrible things to the followers of Jesus. He was even a part of a group that stoned a man named Stephen because he was preaching about God. One day, Saul was traveling to the city of Damascus to hunt for Christians so they could have them thrown into prison. Saul was an angry man who did not like Christians at all. He beat them and sometimes even killed them. He was not friendly to Christians. On this day, Saul was traveling to the city of Damascus. He wanted the leaders to give him permission to hurt more Christians. As he and his friends were making their way along the dusty road, discussing what they were going to say to the leaders, and bragging about how happy they would be to receive permission to persecute Christians. Suddenly, from out of heaven came the brightest light Saul had ever seen. It was so bright that he had to cover his eyes to shield him from the light, but it still hurt his eyes. He fell on the ground trying to get away from it. Then he heard a voice, unlike any voice that he has ever heard before. And it said, "Saul, Saul, why do you persecute me?" Saul did not recognize the voice, and he said, "Who are you?" The answer came back, "I am Jesus." Of course, Saul was very afraid, shaking and trembling, and could hardly speak. And in a weak voice, he said, "Lord, what should I do?" Jesus replied, "Go into the city, and someone will meet you and tell you what to do." Saul's friends were astonished. They did not see the light. They did not see a person. All they heard was the voice. They had no clue on what was happening. When Saul was able to get up off the ground, he uncovered his eyes, but he couldn't see anything. He was blind. His friends had to lead him into the city of Damascus. The light was so bright, for 3 whole days, he could not see anything at all. While all this was happening, on the road outside of the city of Damascus, something else was happening inside the city. The Christians were fearful because they had heard about Saul and knew what terrible things he had done to other Christians, which got them quite worried. Now there was a Christian man named Ananias who loved the Lord very much. God spoke to him in a vision, telling him to go down the street to find Saul. Now Ananias had heard all the stories about Saul, and he was not very fond of this plan. Ananias spoke to the Lord, saying, "What if he hurts me? What if he wants to kill me? Are you sure about this, Lord?" Boys and girls, I'm sure we can all understand Ananias' hesitation to go find Saul. The Lord spoke to Ananias again, reassuring him that everything would be fine. Ananias found the house where Saul was staying in. He prayed and the blindness left him. The Lord healed him so that he could see again. Saul stayed in Damascus with the Christians. He became good friends with them and learned from them. Saul became very sorry for persecuting Christians. He became a follower of Jesus, and after his conversion, changed his name to Paul. Everyone was amazed. They couldn't believe that this was the same person that wanted to kill them. So boys and girls, the power of Jesus Christ can change anyone's life and make a man like Saul into a messenger for God. Boys and girls, when we let Jesus into our lives, he does things for us that we could never imagine. So is there somebody who would like to have closing prayer? Okay.
Dear God, thank you for letting all of us come here and letting us all reunite with God and letting us all learn more about him. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Oh, don't forget to take the lamb's offering.